The gift wrapped in shame. Titan's sky was always heavy in gold, like sunlight trapped in fog, and under that strange sky, in a small human colony far from Earth, Marcus Hale wiped engine oil from his hands and listened to the quiet hum of machines around him. He fixed oxygen pumps and power relays every day. Keeping this fragile world alive, he liked machines, because machines did not lie, did not judge, did not laugh at weakness. But today, something unusual was coming from the stars. A dark alien ship pierced Titan's clouds, shining like a blade dipped in poison. The colony alarms sounded once, not in danger but in warning. A royal ship, the message said. Draconian Empire arrival. Diplomatic transfer. Marcus frowned. Humans and Draconians had a fragile peace, and royal visits were rare. Usually they sent officers, ambassadors, warriors with silver armor and sharp eyes. Not today. Governor Alvarez rushed into the maintenance bay, his face pale. "Marcus," he whispered, "they are sending us someone. A princess." Marcus blinked, confused. "We asked for supplies, not royalty," he said. The governor's voice shook. "This is not honor. This is an insult. They sent her like a joke." The ship landed with elegant cruelty, hissing steam, metal wings folding like a proud predator. 2 alien guards stepped out first, tall, thin, shining armor like polished bones. Then she came, the princess. Her skin was deep emerald, soft like velvet under Titan's lights, and long black hair flowed down her back like liquid night. But she was not like the other Draconians. She was not thin and sharp-edged like a warrior blade. She was full-figured, strong in her shape, her presence heavy with silent power, yet her eyes held hurt, old hurt, like she had learned long ago how to survive being unwanted. "Princess Avra of the Draconian Empire," the guard announced with cold pride. "She is your diplomatic gift." Marcus felt the word burn. No one gave a royal child away unless they wanted to humiliate someone. Avera's golden eyes moved slowly across the landing platform. No anger, no tears, only quiet dignity. Her voice was soft and layered like 2 notes in one breath. "Where do I stay?" she asked. No greetings, no pride, and only acceptance. As if she already knew she was sent here to be hidden, forgotten, mocked. Marcus stepped forward. "Because no one else moved." "I am Marcus. I maintain the colony's life systems," he said. "I will show you your quarters." Her eyes studied him, not judging, only searching. "You are kind to speak to me first," she said quietly. "Thank you." They walked through the dusty hallway of the outpost, human workers staring, whispering, some with curiosity, some with cruel smirks. Avra walked straight, spine tall. But Marcus saw her fingers tremble just once. She was trying to be brave. He opened a small room, simple bed, metal walls, small window showing Titan's orange sky. "It is not much," he said, feeling ashamed. "It is more than I had in my palace," she answered softly. Marcus froze. She continued, her voice steady but heavy. "In Draconian culture, strength is thin, control is hunger, beauty is emptiness." Her hand touched her stomach slowly, not in shame but in quiet truth. "I am not what my father wanted." A pause, like her breath fought itself. "So he sent me where no one would care." Marcus felt anger rise in his chest, slow and dangerous. "No one deserves that," he said. She looked at him, surprised by the gentle tone. "You do not even know me," she whispered. Marcus nodded once. "I fix what people throw away," he replied. "Sometimes the problem isn't the thing. Sometimes it's the one who judged it wrong." Avera blinked, and for the first time her lips curved, not fully a smile, but something close, something fragile. "Your words are strange and honest," she said. "I like them." Later, when the lights dimmed and the colony slept, Marcus checked the message from the Draconian Emperor sent to Titan. A simple line, cold as a blade. "Consider this my offering of peace. Take what even I cannot value. A gift of shame. A life thrown as a joke, a daughter sent to be forgotten." Marcus stood alone in the workshop, surrounded by wires and quiet machines, and he felt a firelight inside him. Not love, not yet, but respect, and anger for her pain. He looked toward her room, where a lone alien princess sat silently by a window, staring at a world that did not want her. The universe had sent her here to be broken. But Marcus thought something else. Maybe she wasn't a burden. Maybe she was the start of something the stars never expected. And he made a silent promise. "As long as you are here," he whispered to himself, "you will not stand alone outside." Titan's sky glowed like a storm waiting to break inside. Two destinies quietly touched for the first time, and the galaxy did not know yet, but a legend had just begun, the first spark of war. The next morning, Titan's sky looked the same, heavy gold mist hanging like a tired dream. But inside the colony, nothing felt the same. A princess had arrived, and rumors traveled faster than oxygen lines. Marcus walked toward the cafeteria, expecting silence, expecting fear. Instead, he heard laughter, sharp, ugly laughter that cut like wires. A voice boomed, deep and loud. "There she is! Space whale incoming!" Avra stood in the doorway, holding a small meal tray with steady hands. Her face was calm, but her shoulders were too still. Too controlled. She had heard every word, every whisper. Cruelty had followed her across stars. Diego, a heavy-set cargo worker with arrogance thicker than his muscles, leaned back and smirked. "So this is our alien princess," he sneered. "Did your emperor run out of royal gems?" His friends laughed. Pounding the metal tables, Avera did not look at them. She simply walked forward, steps graceful, proud, refusing to break. Marcus stepped beside her without speaking, a quiet shield. "Sit with me," he said softly, but loud enough for the room to hear. Avra lowered herself into the seat, voice calm as wind over steel. In draconian language, "We have a saying," she murmured. "A beast makes noise so the world forgets it fears silence." Diego slammed his tray down, anger burning in his small eyes. "You calling me a beast?" Avra took a slow bite, unfazed. "If the fur fits, wear it," she answered quietly. Gasps scattered, someone dropped a cup. Marcus's lips twitched. She was calm, but she had a spine made of stars. Diego grabbed her plate, throwing it to the floor, food splashing. "You eat like an animal anyway," he spat. Marcus's chair screeched as he stood, jaw clenched. "Pick it up, Diego," he said, voice cold. "And apologize," Diego laughed. "Or what, mechanic?" In one breath. Avra rose, and then suddenly the air shifted, not loud, not dramatic, but powerful. Ancient, controlled, she looked at Diego. And for the first time, there was fire behind her gold eyes, a dangerous calm. "Back away," she said, voice soft but vibrating like a quiet earthquake. "You do not know what you provoke." Her hands were open, relaxed, yet the room felt like gravity doubled. Lights flickered, metal trays shook. Something was happening. Something ancient inside her blood. Then, as fast as lightning, Diego stumbled backward, not pushed by a hand, but by force invisible and heavy. He fell, chair crashing, fear replacing arrogance in his eyes. What was that?" he gasped. Avra blinked as if waking from a dream, and the pressure vanished. Everyone stared, afraid, confused. Marcus whispered, "You have powers." Avra lowered her head, voice almost trembling. "I was trained for battle, but forbidden to use it." Before anyone could speak, alarms blared through the colony. Red lights flashing. External breach detected Sector 3. Atmosphere control compromised. Marcus froze, then moved instinctively, turning to Avra. "Come with me," he ordered. She nodded, no hesitation, no royalty now. Only a fighter ready to act. They ran through the steel corridors. Sirens echoing, workers rushing. Fear spreading like cold fog. Sector 3, oxygen processors. The heart of the colony's survival. If they failed, thousands would suffocate slowly. They arrived to chaos, engineers shouting, sparks flying from a blown reactor coil, a ruptured coolant line spraying vapor. Marcus ran to the control panel, hands flying across buttons. "It's overheating. We need to release thermal locks manually." Avra stepped beside him, eyes analyzing every indicator, faster than any human. "Your coolant flow is reversed," she said. "If we open thermal locks now, explosion will follow." Marcus stared, shocked. "You can read this system." Avra placed her hand on a panel. Ancient symbols glowed beneath her touch, like the machine recognized her. "I can do more than read," she whispered. She closed her eyes, voice low, humming. Not human, not programmable, something deeper. A melodic frequency filled the room. Soft and vibrating, machine lights flickered. Systems recalibrated. Coolant flow corrected. Marcus stared in awe. "You interface with technology." Avra opened her eyes, glowing faintly gold. "It is forbidden for my kind to bond with machines," she said. "But I was always different." Marcus pulled a lever and systems balanced. Pressure normalizing. Alarm slowly fading. The colony began to breathe again, literally and figuratively. He looked at her, truly looked, not as an alien, not as a gift of shame, but as a power hidden by fear, by jealousy, by an empire afraid of what she could become. "You saved us," he said quietly. Avera's shoulders lowered, breath shaking slightly, not from weakness but relief. "For once," she whispered. "I am not only a burden." Marcus shook his head. "No, Avera," he said, voice firm. "You are something they feared, not something they wasted." A distant communication beeped on the governor's channel. Faint but clear. Incoming encrypted message. Draconian Empire channel. Avera stiffened. Her heart freezing in her chest, she knew that tone. That frequency. It was not a message of care, it was a message of surveillance. Of control, of warning, she whispered, voice shaking quietly. "They are watching me." Marcus felt a chill creep up his spine, not fear of Avera, fear for her, and fear for humanity. Somewhere out there, a powerful empire had not thrown her away, they had hidden her, and the moment she used her gift, they felt it. Far above Titan's sky, unseen ships stirred, and war, silent and deadly, began to breathe. The secret they tried to bury. Silence returned to Titan, but it was not peace. It was the kind of silence where a storm hides behind clouds. Waiting to strike, Avera sat inside the maintenance bay, hands folded, her breath slow. Marcus checked the cooling system again and again, but his mind was not on work. He glanced at her, the alien princess who moved machines with a whisper, the girl who stood tall under insult, the woman sent away like trash by her own blood. She felt his eyes and spoke first, voice soft like tired wind. "You are thinking questions you are afraid to ask." Marcus wiped his hands. "Walk closer." "Yes," he said, "I am." Avera looked at the glowing cables, the buzzing reactors like they were old friends. "You want to know what I am?" she whispered. Marcus nodded, but gently. "Not what," he said. "Who?" Her eyes softened for a moment, pain flickering like a dying flame. "My name given at birth was not Avera," she said. "It was Kaelria Vorison." Marcus blinked. The Emperor's bloodline name. "You are not a minor daughter," he breathed. "You are—" "The firstborn," she finished quietly. "The true heir." The words fell heavy in the air like metal plates. Marcus felt his heartbeat tighten. "The galaxy thinks the Emperor's firstborn is male," he whispered. Avera nodded, bitterness sharp in her voice. "That is what they are allowed to think." She stood slowly, her shadow stretching across steel floors. Draconian laws echoed in her memory. Cold, cruel, carved into bone and ceremony. "In my empire, the heir must be perfect," she said, thin, sharp, ruthless, beautiful by their standard. Her hand brushed her hip, a gesture of quiet defiance. "I was not." Marcus clenched his fist, anger burning for her. "They tried to erase you," he said. "They tried to bury me under shame," she corrected. "So I could never rise, but there was more." A weight in her tone that made Marcus step closer, almost instinctively protective. "What else did they do to you?" he asked, voice careful. Her eyes shined bright gold for a heartbeat. Then she whispered, "They engineered me." Marcus froze. "Engineered," he repeated. Avera nodded, fingers trembling just once before she steadied them. "In royal bloodline labs, they create stronger heirs," she murmured. "Faster minds, tougher bodies, deeper connection to technology." Her hand hovered above a reactor panel, and the machine reacted, humming softer, like recognizing her presence. "But there was an error," she whispered, voice shaking. "Or so they told me." Marcus leaned in. Every muscle tense. "What error?" Avera closed her eyes, and her voice cracked. "My body stored energy," she said, "instead of burning it. To them it meant excess, failure, ugliness," Marcus whispered back. "To me, it sounds like power." Avera opened her eyes, glowing, fierce, wounded. "That is why they feared me," she whispered. "Not because I was weak, but because I was too strong to control." She turned, walking slowly, her hands tracing machinery that hummed like it knew her heartbeat. "At 6, I dismantled palace weapons vaults," she said. "At 8, I beat adult tacticians in war simulators." Her breath trembled. "At 10, the machines in the academy began to answer only to me." She looked at him, voice breaking and rebuilding at the same time. "Machines are loyal." Marcus more than people. He felt a chill. Not fear of her, but fear of the empire that threw her away. "If the empire kept you, you would have become ruler," he said. She nodded. "And they could not control a ruler who did not need them," Silence again. Heavy, sacred. Marcus stepped forward, gently placing a hand over hers. Not touching skin, just hovering, offering warmth without force. "You are not broken," he whispered. "They are afraid of you." Avra looked at his hand, her voice fragile like glass warmed by sunlight. "No one has ever said that to me," she breathed before peace could settle. The governor's voice echoed through speakers, shaky, terrified. "Marcus, Avra, report to command now. Urgent diplomatic signal from Draconian Empire." Marcus's stomach dropped. Avra's breath stilled, like prey sensing hunters. In the command room, a hologram flickered. Cold silver armor. Sharp-faced Draconian officer. "Princess Kale Raya," the alien sneered. "We detected unauthorized power resonance." Avra's hands curled slowly. "I saved lives," she said, steady. The officer's eyes glowed cruel. "You broke royal decree." Marcus stepped in front of her without thinking. "She saved our colony," he growled. The officer ignored him like a fly, voice dripping venom. "You are property of the crown," he hissed. "You will surrender or be terminated." Avra lifted her chin. Regal. Defiant, powerful. "I am not property," she said. "I am heir." The officer froze, then laughed, short and mocking. "You think that still matters?" A cold click echoed. A beacon activation. A location ping, and the officer whispered, "Your hiding place is exposed." The hologram vanished. Sirens began to rise again, slow and deep like thunder crawling across space. Marcus looked at her, heart racing. "They are coming." Avera's eyes blazed like molten gold. "No," she whispered, voice turning fierce, unstoppable. "They have always been coming." She turned to him. And for the first time, there was not only pain in her eyes. There was power and destiny and a storm preparing to rise. "And this time," she said softly, "I will not run." When the air stops hiding. The alarms did not scream fast or loud. They rose slow and deep like a giant waking from ancient sleep. Everyone in the colony felt it, the pressure, the dread, the sense that something powerful was coming closer through space. In the control room, the governor shook, hands trembling over screens. "Unidentified vessels entering Titan orbit," he whispered. Voice breaking. Marcus didn't need confirmation. He knew who they were, and Avra, and the true heir, knew too. She stood in the middle of the room, not moving, not breathing fast, only watching the hologram feed as alien shapes approached Titan. Cold metal wings, sharp cruiser hulls. "Shadows bigger than fear," Marcus whispered. "They are not here to negotiate," Avra nodded once. Voice quiet and steady like a warrior preparing a blade. "They are here to erase me." The governor turned to her, eyes full of panic. "You must surrender, and if you don't, they will destroy us." Avra looked at him with cold calm, not angry but resigned. "If I surrender, they will destroy me and still destroy you." Marcus clenched his jaw and stepped beside her. "She stays here," he said, "with us." A technician gasped as the radar pinged again, more ships dropping from dark hyperspace like metal predators. 6 royal destroyers, the technician whispered, and 1 execution vessel. Marcus felt the air heat, felt his pulse hammer. Execution vessels did not capture, did not escort. They burned worlds to hide royal secrets. Avra watched the screen, golden eyes hard as armor. "I always knew this moment would arrive," she said softly. "I just hoped I would not bring death to others again." Marcus shook his head fiercely. "You are not the reason they're here," he said. "Their cruelty is." She looked at him, really looked, and her voice wavered for the first time. "It is strange," she whispered, "to learn kindness only when hunted." The governor raised shaking hands. "Prepare evacuation protocols," he ordered. Marcus snapped. "There is nowhere to go. They will shoot escape craft." Avra closed her eyes, breath turning deep and slow, and for a moment she looked almost peaceful. Then she spoke not as a frightened exile, but as something else. "I must unlock what they fear," she whispered. Marcus stepped closer. "What do you mean?" She opened her eyes, and they glowed brighter than before. "Molten metal under fire. Royal children are created with seals," she said. "Genetic locks placed by the Emperor." Her voice dropped to a whisper. Sharp, dangerous. To prevent rebellion, Marcus felt a tremor pass through him. "You're going to break yours," Avra nodded. "Yes." Suddenly, her body shook. Not in weakness, but in power. Like something massive was rising inside her bones. Lights flickered, consoles buzzed, like machines felt her pulse. She gripped the edge of a steel table until it dented under her fingers. Golden lines began to shimmer along her arms, glowing like veins of fire. The air thickened. The floor vibrated. A hum rising from her chest, and a sound not human, not machine, something between life and weapon. The governor backed away in terror. "Stop. You will destabilize the colony systems." Marcus stood still. Not afraid, only watching, trusting. "If she doesn't," he said, "there will be nothing left anyway." Avra's voice deepened, layered like she carried a chorus inside her.
"Gene seal override," she whispered, trembling.
Kale Raya protocol awakening. A pulse burst outward, invisible but heavy. The lights dimming into darkness for a breath before flickering back. Machines across the colony spoke, in soft whirs, hums, systems realigning as if listening to her heartbeat. Avra gasped violently, dropping to one knee. Shaking like energy filled her veins too fast, Marcus knelt beside her, hand close but not touching, voice steady. "I'm here, not leaving." She lifted her head, and her eyes were not just gold anymore. They were starfire, swirling, bright, alive with power meant for a throne. Her voice came slow, cracked but fierce. "It is done." Outside, in orbit, one royal battleship shuddered, alarms flaring inside it, pilots yelling commands. She activated the royal signal, one voice shouted. "She is claiming her blood right," another hissed, panicked, and then silence, fear. Because no forbidden heir had ever survived that awakening. On Titan, Avra rose, unsteady but burning like a star hidden in flesh. Her presence filled the control room like gravity. Even her shadow looked heavier, deeper. "They will not retreat," she said. "But now they cannot kill me without breaking ancient law." Marcus stared, breath held. "You just turned this into a political war." Avra nodded slowly. "And political wars have witnesses, but peace did not arrive. Instead, the colony lights turned red again. A voice boomed through speakers, artificial, cold, royal. "Unauthorized air signal detected. Planet Titan is marked for cleansing." The room froze. Evacuation was not possible now. There was nowhere to run. "No hiding, no escape routes," Marcus whispered. "What do we do now?" Avra turned her gaze toward the sky, where silent death ships floated like dark gods. "We fight," she said. Her voice did not shake. It carried destiny, weight and fury. "Not to win," she added, soft and terrifying, "but to make them remember the air they threw away," and in her eyes burned a new storm. Not one born from pain, but one born from awakening. From truth, from rage, from power. Titan did not feel like a colony anymore. It felt like the birthplace of rebellion, the colony that refused to kneel. Titan had never felt so loud. Even in silence, the colony did not sleep. Could not breathe, could not blink. Outside, alien warships waited like wolves circling an injured animal. Inside, humans moved in panic, fear thick like smoke in every hallway. Avera stood in the center of the command room, body glowing with quiet fire. She looked less like a princess now, and more like a storm pretending to be flesh. Marcus stayed near her side, not out of duty, but instinct. Protection, connection, and maybe more, but neither of them spoke that part yet. "Power shields active," a technician whispered, hands shaking over controls. "Emergency barriers up," another said. Yet everyone knew. Shields meant nothing to royal execution fleets. Governor Alvarez grabbed a comm device. Voice breaking. "We surrender. Please, do not fire. Our colony is not part of this royal—" Avra lifted her hand, and the device fell silent, power cutting gently but firmly. "No surrender," she said, calm like a blade placed on silk. "If you surrender, you die kneeling." Her golden eyes turned toward Marcus, steady as a vow. "I would rather die standing beside those who showed me kindness." A pause. Heavy. Sacred. Marcus swallowed hard, heart loud in his ribs. "You are not dying today," he said. "Not here. Not like this." His voice carried certainty, not hope. Confidence given to him not by machines or weapons, but by her. The alarm screen flashed again. New signal detected. Royal landing craft descending. Not ships in orbit. Real soldiers. Real metal coming down to the surface. Avra's jaw clenched. "They are not firing from orbit because they cannot break royal law while I live. So they will come to kill me face to face." Marcus tightened his grip on a plasma wrench. It wasn't a weapon, but it felt like protection. "They'll have to get through me first." Avra turned slightly toward him, eyes soft for a single breath. You are only human, she whispered. Not as insult but fear for him. Marcus lifted his chin. That has always been enough. Outside, engines roared, alien boots hitting Titan soil. Elite Royal Guard units marched across the landing field, armor dark, helmets sharp like blades. The colony shook under their steps. Avera inhaled deeply, the kind of breath a person takes before fire. She stepped forward, gear, and machines responded, colony lights brightening, consoles stabilizing, vents humming stronger. The whole base leaned toward her as if recognizing command. Machines were loyal, she had said, and now they proved it. Marcus stared, money stunned and in awe. You command technology like it's alive, Avera answered softly. Machine blood in my veins and a forbidden gift, klaxons roared. Motion sensors triggered. Royal soldiers reached the colony gates, and a metallic voice shouted through loudspeakers, Deliver the traitor princess, or all biological life will be erased. Governor Alvarez looked ready to faint. What do we do? He whispered. Avera did not hesitate. We hold the doors. Soldiers outside primed plasma weapons, beams glowing lethal purple. Inside, humans grabbed anything they could. Wrenches, cutters, mining rifles. Fear was still in their eyes, but so was something new. Pride, defiance, humanity. Marcus spoke softly, voice warm and certain. You're not alone anymore. Avera closed her eyes. Just for a heartbeat, and in that small silence, the universe inside her grew sharper, stronger, louder. Then she opened them, and the glow returned. Brighter than ever, it wasn't rage, and it was awakening. Destiny no longer hiding, open the gate, she said. Everyone stared at her like she had lost her mind. Marcus stepped in front of her, voice urgent. They'll shoot the moment they see you. Avera put a gentle hand on his chest. Warm, steady, unbelievably calm. I'm not hiding anymore, she whispered. Not from them, not from the throne. Not from fate. The doors parted, slow, heavy. Dramatic like a curtain rising before battle. And there they stood, dozens of alien soldiers. Rifles raised, armor gleaming under Titan's gold light. The commander stepped forward, voice like steel dipped in venom. Kael'ria Vorison, he snarled. Kneel! Avera did not bow, did not flinch. She lifted her chin, fire glowing under emerald skin. You kneel to me, she said, quiet, deadly royal. Laughter burst from the soldiers, harsh, cruel, mocking, and then silence. A pressure rippled through the air, invisible yet heavy as gravity. The ground vibrated, wind swirled, dust rising like a crown around her. Marcus felt the force, not pushing him away, but surrounding him like a shield. The soldiers stumbled, caught off balance by power they had never seen unleashed. Avera stepped forward, and the machines around the colony hummed louder, screens flickering, metal shifting like it breathed with her. She raised her hand gently, not in aggression but in command, and every weapon in the alien soldiers' hands powered down, lights dimming, barrels cooling, obeying her instead. Gasps echoed. Even the royal commander froze, disbelief shaking his voice. Impossible. Avera's voice came soft, but it carried across the field like a rising sun. I do not kneel, she said, and neither do those who stand with me. Behind her, humans lifted their makeshift weapons higher, courage spreading like fire catching air. On Titan, a colony of ordinary people stood beside an unwanted princess, and together they did not bow far above. Unseen in the cold quiet of space, a massive ship stirred, one far larger than the rest, cloaked in shadow, watching, waiting, calculating, because the galaxy had just witnessed something forbidden, something legendary in the making. A forgotten heir had risen, and not with an army, but with humanity at her side, and destiny was no longer sleeping. It was coming, fast, fierce, unstoppable. The battle the stars will remember. Titan did not breathe. It roared quietly. Like a world preparing for legend, the alien soldiers stood frozen, their weapons powerless in their hands. Machines obeyed her, not them. And in that moment, Avera did not look like exile or shame. She looked like royalty waking from chains. But power invites fear, and fear invites violence. The royal commander lifted his arm, shouting, Reactivate weapons. Code Imperial Purge. Nothing responded, not a spark, not a hum. Instead, the machines around Avera hummed deeper, loyal, protective, awake. You cannot purge what you cannot command, she said. Voice steady like the center of a storm. The commander snarled. Then we end you by force, he lunged forward. Plasma blade flashing and sharp, deadly, humming with energy. Before Marcus could even shout, Avra moved, not with rage, not with panic, but with grace that came from training buried in her bones. She stepped aside, caught his wrist, and twisted with precise strength. The blade dropped, hitting Titan's dirt with a soft hiss. The commander fell to his knees with a cry. Armor-scraping rock gasps spread across the colony, human and alien alike. She did not hurt him with cruelty, only necessity. Power without hatred. Power born from survival. The commander growled in humiliation. You think humans will protect you? He spat toward Marcus. Rage burning. You are dirt to our empire. Nothing. Marcus stepped forward, not fearful but fierce. And yet we are the ones standing, he said quietly. A simple line, but it cut sharper than any royal blade. Avra's eyes softened for one breath. The way someone looks at light after living too long in darkness. Then the sky trembled. A deeper sound, older, heavier, echoed from above. Everyone looked up. Something enormous broke through Titan's clouds. Silent, majestic, terrifying. A ship far bigger than the others, black metal like carved night, shaped not for war but for rule. The Emperor's vessel, Avra's breath caught. The glow in her eyes flickering. He came himself, she whispered. Marcus felt his stomach twist. If he's here, then... Avra nodded slowly, voice low and cold. He means to decide my fate with his own hand. The massive ship hovered, casting shadow over the colony like a dark crown. A voice broadcast across Titan. Deep, commanding, echoing in every metal surface. Kalria, the Emperor's voice thundered. You have broken your seal. Avra stood tall, unshaken. I woke what you feared, she replied, calm and defiant. Silence heavy like judgment. Then the Emperor spoke again. Return to me now, and I will make your death swift. The colony gasped. Death offered like mercy. Avra lifted her chin. I do not belong to you. Behind her, humans raised tools, rifles, their courage trembling but real. Marcus stepped right beside her, shoulder touching hers. You're not alone, he whispered. Her eyes flicked to him. Something warm, something human. Something dangerous because it mattered. Thank you, she breathed. The Emperor's voice sharpened. You choose them over your blood, Avra answered without doubt. They gave me dignity, something you never did. Lightning streaked across Titan's gold sky. Not weather, but power discharge from the royal ship. Suddenly, pods fired from above, dozens of armored drones, black and silver, slicing through the sky like angry stars. They hit the ground with explosive force, forming a circle around the colony. Mechanical bodies unfolded, glowing red eyes activating. Weapons humming, the battle had begun. Avra inhaled once, steady and deep, then she moved. The ground pulsed under her feet. Machines across the colony lit up, screens flashing, engines humming, metal doors slamming shut to protect civilians. The air around her shimmered like heat on steel. The first drone fired, searing plasma bolt cutting through the air. Marcus shouted her name, but she was already there. Hand up, absorbing the blast into her body like it was breath. The bolt dissolved into gold light around her skin. A hush fell. Then she released it, a radiant pulse blasting outward, sending drones flying, metal smoking, ground shaking. Humans stared in awe, fear turning into hope. Avra stood at the front line, voice strong. Protect the colony, she commanded, not shouted, commanded. Royal blood ringing through every machine. Drones swarmed again, and she met them. Hand slicing through armor with force that cracked steel. A kick sent two crashing back into walls. Sparks bursting. Energy shields formed around workers. Guiding them to safety, Marcus rushed to support engineers sealing vents. Sparks flying around him, heart pounding. Every time he looked at her, she was a blaze of movement. Not monster, not weapon, but protector. A queen made by rejection, not crowned by ceremony. The royal soldiers who had mocked her earlier stared in fear. And maybe awe too. They saw not weakness, not shame, but a ruler they could never have controlled. Avra stood in the battlefield's center, breathing hard, glowing with power that refused to bow. She lifted her head toward the Emperor's ship, voice steady, fierce, unstoppable. You exiled me to hide your fear, and your fear will be your end. Quiet fell. The kind of quiet before history changes. The Emperor did not answer because for the first time, he was not speaking down to a forgotten daughter. He was watching a rival rise. The air the Empire could not break. Titan shook under war, under destiny, under truth. Smoke curled through the golden air. Drones sparked on the ground. Metal burned and machines roared to protect humans. Avera stood at the front, armor of light shimmering around her skin. Breathing heavy but unbroken, above the Emperor's colossal ship watched. Silent, cold judging, it did not fire, not yet, because something new was rising here. Something the Empire could not ignore, not erase, not kill quietly in shadows. A lone crimson beam cracked the sky, a command beam, royal summons, and then he appeared. Emperor Vorison descended in a pillar of silver light, tall, thin, armor etched with ancient symbols, crown like serrated bone, eyes glowing cruel gold. Avera's breath caught, not in fear but in recognition of the monster who made her. He stepped forward, each footstep heavy. A daughter who forgets respect, he said, voice smooth as poison. Must learn obedience. Marcus stood beside Avera, weapon trembling in his grip, but he did not step back. Respect is earned, Marcus said quietly, not demanded by fear. The Emperor regarded him with amused disgust. You defend alien trash, human. Marcus met his gaze without shaking. I defend someone better than a tyrant. Avera looked at Marcus, and something deep and soft flickered in her eyes. Something warm inside the storm. The Emperor lifted a hand and the ground rumbled. You were born to kneel, he hissed at her. You were made to obey. Avera stood taller, pain and fury and pride burning in her voice. I was made to rule. Power clashed between them like lightning meeting thunder. Invisible force crackled in the air. Dust lifted, metal groaned. Avera released a shockwave of golden energy. The Emperor countered with a shield of cold silver. Machines all around hummed, lights bending toward her. Like technology itself held breath waiting for her command. The Emperor's voice boomed. You are an abomination, Avera answered calmly. I am your successor, he snarled. Striking her with a blast of psychic force, she fell to one knee. Ground cracking beneath her, breath shaking. Marcus ran toward her, shouting. But she raised a hand and stopping him gently. Not because she didn't need help, but because she refused to let fear control this moment. I am not weak, she whispered. Rising again, legs shaking, light returning, brighter. You exiled me because you feared me. The Emperor's armor pulsed, his aura sharp like blades. I will erase you from history. Avera spread her hands and the colony walls glowed. Screens. Power cores, satellites, all responding. I already became history, the Emperor charged. Silver force crushing air. Avera answered, on gold energy exploding outward for a moment. Gold and silver collided like stars fighting in night sky. But then, a scream cut through chaos. A drone had slipped past defenses, firing plasma straight at Marcus. He turned, too slow. Avera moved. Faster than thought, throwing herself in front of him, shield erupting from her skin. The blast struck her instead, burning into her side. Sparks exploding, light shattering. Marcus caught her before she fell, fear breaking across his face like glass shattering. Avera, he shouted, voice cracking. She gripped his arm, breath trembling. I will not let them take what gave me strength, she whispered, eyes soft and fierce. You, Marcus's heart pounded, and for a second the war faded, replaced by only them. You changed everything, he whispered back. She smiled, and tired, beautiful, alive with fire. So did you. The Emperor raised his hand again to strike. But something shifted. The colony lights surged. Machines hummed louder. Drones froze midair. Weapons unlocking from alien soldiers, broadcasting one signal. Royal command transfer detected. Avera's blood awakened deeper, her wound glowing gold instead of bleeding. She rose slowly, leaning on Marcus but rising still, unstoppable. Her voice rang across Titan like command carved in lightning. I claim my birthright. The Emperor's eyes widened. Fear, real fear, flashing for the first time. No, he roared, stepping forward. Avera raised her hand, and every machine obeyed. Titan's defense grid lit like a newborn star, forming a golden crown above the colony. A voice echoed from the Emperor's own ship, robotic and ancient. Air ascendancy protocol confirmed. Lineage override accepted, Avera's voice thundered. Stand down. Royal soldiers' armor powered off. Drones collapsed, ships above froze, engines silenced. Even the Emperor's armor flickered, unstable, trembling, betrayed by his own lineage system. He stumbled, shock in his voice. You cannot. You are unfit. Avera stood tall, light flowing like a rising sun. I am unwanted by your standards, she said softly, but chosen by destiny. She stepped forward, calm, Regal unstoppable. You ruled by fear, she whispered. I will rule by strength and compassion. The Emperor lunged one final time. Avra raised her hand, energy surged, but she did not kill him. She froze him in place, power pinning him to the ground like gravity made of justice. Exile, she commanded, let the stars forget you. As you tried to forget me, the Emperor vanished. Teleported to his own abandoned exile world. Powerless. Nameless, fallen, silence fell, broken only by soft hum of machines bowing to new command. Avera exhaled, energy softening. Gold fading to gentle warmth, she turned to Marcus, voice shaking with emotion deeper than victory. Titan gave me a home, she whispered. And you gave me a heart. Marcus touched her hand. And you gave humanity a queen. Avra looked over the colony. Humans who refused to kneel. Machines standing like honor guards. A world that sheltered her instead of mocking her. Titan, harsh, dusty, imperfect, proud. The place she became herself. Not what she was forced to be. Not queen of a throne, she said softly, but guardian of those who chose to stand. The sky glowed gold in silence, and Titan breathed again, alive with hope and legend. The unwanted princess was not thrown away by the universe. She was delivered to exactly where she needed to rise, and the Empire learned one truth too late. They did not exile weakness, they awakened power.